There we go. Hi, hi, hi. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this fantastic stream on 8 reasons you're not losing weight. So, I've got a fantastic guest with me today. However, it's actually his presentation. So, we're like, who's going to start? Who's going to be doing this? So, I'm going to pass my word to him. But first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Monika. I am a scientist and a nutrition coach, and I'm a founder of Bad Mom Club. We're all about being bad, balanced, authentic, and deserving. And we do this through nutrition coaching and a lot of mindset hacks around it. And with me today is Coach Mello. So take it away. Tell us about you.
Hello, everybody. I'm a professional coach. I've been working with people, helping them eliminate fat and build lean muscle tissue for about 10 years now. I originally started working with youth and then built my way up to working with older people. I've trained people all the way up to 69 years old. So it gets up there. And the main difference is, how much input you can put on your body and how much damage you can put in your workouts, but while also maintaining doing that without, over hurting your body, because overtraining is a real issue. And today we are going to be talking more so on the nutrition and mindset side of things. So that's why I figured it would be a wonderful idea to get Dr. Monique's input on all of this, as well as going over some gut health things that I'm going to be honest, I don't know too much about. So it's wonderful to have a professional with me today to speak on that part.
Awesome. I've just noticed like a typo. It's Monica. It's just a Dr. Monica.
Oh, whoops.
All good, all good. Right. So, shall we get going? I'm really excited to get through this.
Awesome. So yeah, 8 reasons you're not losing weight, and it's not about the calories. So number one, it might be you're not being patient enough. A lot of people wait too long. So don't wait enough when they start introducing new diets and new training regimes to their daily, parts of their life. So people quit when they realize after a little bit, the weight stops dropping off and they hit what's called a plateau. So this is usually what it looks like. And people tend to hate themselves when they get in the suck area because they get initial results. They're proud, they're happy, everything seems to be working. And then all of a sudden, it seems like it's not. But what people don't realize is your body is combating immediate changes. So with you eating less calories and exercising more, your body takes that as shock and it wants to sort of get back to a homeostasis point where it's staying where it is. But you have to trust the process, continue with that growth, and get going. So when you first start your fat loss diet, you see fast results, and those super motivates you. And that gives you a false sense of progress because it's most of it's water weight to begin with, because we hold on to a lot of water weight when we're not exercising more consistently, as well as changing our diets from higher sodium foods, more processed stuff, to more organic and better for you foods that don't have as much preservatives, allowing your body to hold on to that water in your tissues. So the plateau is just that period of time where you're doing everything right, but still no progress is seemingly being made. But have no fear. Right around the corner, if you stick with the program, you'll start to see, it might go down a little bit. This is where people give up. This is where you think it's not working anymore. But if you don't give up and stick with it for a few more weeks, another month, this is your health. Like, this is something we should be doing for the rest of our lives, not just because we want to drop 20, 30, 50 pounds.
Absolutely.
So that's where the progress is made. And this is where the winners are born.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So here, what I kind of wanted to say is that, everything that Coach Mello has been telling us so far is absolutely true. But what a lot of people forget is that when they're doing their progress photos, or when they're checking your weight loss, or when you're doing something and you start comparing yourself to other people, and that is quite detrimental. Why? Because from scientific point of view, no two bodies are the same. Even in twin studies as a geneticist. I work a lot with twin studies. Even with twins, no two bodies are the same. You cannot expect, even if you ate the same and exercised the same way as top athletes, you would not be getting the same results. So comparison is really the thief of joy, the thief of progress. And it's actually more complex than that. You know, you got your gut microbiome, which is a massive topic in science of nutrition right now. And you need to understand that it's not just about weight loss, it's about overall health. Like we've mentioned, going from highly processed foods with foods that are better for you, more like whole foods, more foods that are sourced from natural sources and not grown in a lab. Although I'm a scientist, so I shouldn't be saying that. But anyway, you don't want to be comparing your progress to other people. And also, you don't want to be jumping from one program to another program to another program, because nothing's going to happen like this. You really need to stick it through that suck part, okay? And of course, seek out the advice, ask questions. There's so many of us who are doing this really with our hearts, wanting to help you to get a healthier life. So just get in touch with us and seek answers to your questions. Don't be shy to try new things. The thing that works for me might not work for you. The thing that works for Coach Mello might not work for me either. But, you know, this is what we're saying. Don't compare, focus, patience, and keep going. All right, next one. There we go.
Have my mic muted. So step number 2, or reason number 2 rather, is metabolic adaptation. So just as Monika was saying, no two bodies are alike, no matter how close they were genetically to one another or anything else. Because the key here is, one, the full size of your body. It takes up energy in 4 different ways. So you have eat, TEF, NEAT, and your BMR, which I'm sure a lot of you might be more familiar with. So another key to this is that someone who's smaller, shorter, has less mass on their figure, they burn fewer calories. So that's why they need to eat a lot less, as opposed to someone larger who, even if he's losing weight, he might be eating almost double what a smaller person needs to eat and still be able to lose fat.
That's one of my favorite graphs, by the way. It just shows how little, you know, really the exercise part is, and everything else is what's happening in your body.
Exactly. Because if, let's say, for example, I typically work out for an hour a day, that's only 4% of your day. And what people also don't understand is your body mainly uses fat as a fuel source. And that's when you burn the most fat, is when you're sleeping. So that's why when you break your muscle tissues down in exercises at the gym, that makes your body want to work overtime and burn even more calories while you're sleeping. And that's time that you're going to spend anyways. And it's also good for your mental health as well. So don't take rest out of the equation too early.
100% agree.
So BMR, as most of you might have heard from your doctor or a coach if you've worked with one in the past, it's a bunch of your chemical processes that occur inside of your body, like such as your brain using calories to process this article, or your eyes flickering from your phone screen to the pretty girl sat opposite of you at the bar or something. Simultaneously, it makes your heart beat faster as she stares back, looking back at you. Ooh, what's up, cutie? So believe it or not, all this stuff burns calories and is your basal metabolic rate. This is what makes up the largest chunk of your metabolism and accounts for around 60 to 70% in most people on their daily calorie expenditure.
Huge chunk.
Yeah, that's the largest one. And NEAT is one that a lot of people don't think about. So have you ever considered the difference between someone who works more physical labor, like a construction worker or a factory worker moving boxes around, versus someone who's either a school teacher or even less activity, someone who just works a desk job and is on the phone all day doing sales? So the person doing sales, if he's tapping his foot, he'll be burning more body than the guy in the next cubicle who's may not be. And he might be a lot larger, not just because of that. I'm just saying this is an example of your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's all the activity that isn't intentional exercise, such as, like I said, fidgeting, walking. That's why most people beginning a exercise program try to at least get 10K steps a day, because walking is a big part of your movement. It's not really exercise. You're just going from point A to point B. This is also if you have a dog, you're more active, you're playing with them, you're taking them out to go to the bathroom more often. NEAT accounts for about 30% of your total energy expenditure, and that by far is your second largest component to the energy that you expend throughout your day. It could be higher or it could be lower, depending on how intensive your job or other things that you do.
Awesome. So then we get to eat or exercise activity thermogenesis. I
I
never know
love to
how
eat.
to pronounce. I do love to eat too, but that's not the kind of eat that we love. This is all the calories that we're burning through exercise related activities. Some people are going to burn more because they've got more strenuous exercises. Weightlifting, definitely, we're going to touch on that later, but both Michael and myself, we both freaking love to lift weights, and there's a good reason for that. But it's also depending on the exercise that you do. The number of calories you burn will vary. So really make sure that you're understanding that, because unfortunately, as much as we all want to, we cannot out-train the bad diet. We really can. And a lot of times I have clients, I mostly work with women. A lot of times I have women tell me, oh, can I just do exercise for my abdominals to get a six-pack, or get nice toned belly? Well, bad news, you cannot spot reduce fat. You can't choose where it's going to go away. However, with weightlifting and targeted exercises, you can build the muscle under the fat there. So the look is going to be more toned and is going to look fantastic after you drop the body fat. And the last one, it's TEF, which is actually my favorite one, and it's one that I actually use a lot in my coaching programs, is the thermic effect on food, and is the number of calories that you burn digesting foods. Now, even though it's quite a small percentage, 5 to 10%, it still factors into the energy expenditure. But what does that actually mean? So I've got a wee note here, is that I really like to work with TEF and encourage people to eat higher proportion of foods that are a bit more difficult to digest. So which foods are that? Complex carbohydrates, anything that involves fiber. Now, where do we find fiber? And a lot of vegetables and a lot of food, grains, legumes, all these amazing foods. And vegetable is also really, really good to clear up your digestive system. Why do you want to clear up your digestive system? Well, first of all, you don't want to be hanging out on that extra weight, up to 5 pounds, by the way, or even more. You don't want that weight, right? But also it really makes you feel good. It promotes your immune system. It's generally really, really good for your health if you're eating diet rich in fibers. So you want to be eating stuff like that. But then you also have certain foods, herbs, spices that promote extra calorie burning, such as turmeric, cinnamon. Then you got green tea. In some cases you also have coffee, but obviously coffee can be debatable because that doesn't count Costa coffee when you add like 300 sugars and a cream on top, and a lot of spices. So traditional Indian cuisine, for example, involves so many herbs and spices that is really anti-inflammatory and helps burn more calories and promote your immune system. So I really like TEF. If you want to talk more about that, just get in touch. Right, let's go to the next one.
So the next one is one that I mentioned first thing at the beginning of the presentation, and that's water retention. So dieting, as well as exercise, is a form of stress on the body, and that's going to change your hormones, how your body works, how your body holds on to water weight, etc., because our body is mostly made up of water. So as you can see here, these photos were only taken 1 week apart. So on the left, this female was definitely stressed. She was probably consuming more sodium in her diet, and you can tell that her belly is bulging a little bit with that water retention. So after she gets back to a better diet, having her fruits, vegetables, things that are high in fiber, green tea, her water retention drops, and now she looks toned or tighter. And that's just 1 week. Now, in 1 week, that's how much it can change. So you see, water retention, it masks your fat loss, and people falsely assume that they're not losing fat, even in a calorie deficit. Or worse, they think they're gaining body fat. Mm-hmm. And if you're chronically stressed, you're not sleeping, you're not exercising, you're not eating properly, you're going to find it harder to lose fat and build muscle. So here are some things that can help. My favorite, walking. Best thing to do first thing in the morning. Of course, if it's raining, just do a couple circles in your house, do a couple laps, listen to an audiobook. I personally love walking. I try to get at least 20 minutes every morning, and I purposefully leave my phone at home and use this time to think about things, reflect, and all that other good stuff. And another thing that I know a lot of you aren't doing is get a massage. Even if just once a month, this can do wonders for your stress levels and as well as your elasticity in your muscles. And you can get feedback from your masseuse, depending which kind you go to, on how they feel you should maybe stretch or do other things outside of the office to take further care of your body moving forward.
Oh, I love massage.
Oh, yeah. Every vacation, I try to get one as long as it's not like 3 times overpriced. And speaking on mindset and stress levels, taking care of your goals and your stressors and things that you want to just get off your chest, even though you might not have someone to speak to, journaling is a great way to do that because you're talking to your written form. You're getting your thoughts out of your head and onto that piece of paper so you can offload a lot of mental baggage that you carry with you. Doodling also helps if you're more on the artistic side.
Here to add, sorry, with water retention, in a lot of cases, it's quite interesting. People retain water because they're not drinking enough of it, which sounds really funny, right? It sounds like, how do I
It totally does.
water if I'm not drinking enough? Well, this is what happens. Like, our body likes to hold on stuff. Just as the same way, I don't know if we're going to talk about this later or not, but if you're not eating enough, your body is going to slower the metabolism, so you're going to be having more difficult time losing weight. It's the same with water. If you're not drinking enough, your body's going to hold to it and it's going to retain it for essential processes in your body. You might also get headaches, migraines. Your skin might start looking like a prune, instead of really beautiful grape. You're going to be more looking like an old granny or grandpa. So you really want to be upping your water. Now, a very good kind of formula that I use for calculating how much water is good for an individual to drink every single day is if you multiply your weight in pounds, so say 160 pounds times 0.015, that gives you a lovely kind of estimate suggestion how much water you should actually be drinking. And in 95% of my clients, they don't drink enough, even though they thought they are. So have this calculated for yourself, your body weight in pounds times 0.015, and you're going to get how much water in liters you should be drinking every single day. Right. You can go to the next one.
I wrote that down as a comment on the post.
Yeah.
So number 4 is health issues. Some might have them, some might not, but it's something to take into consideration, especially if you're starting to look for forms of exercise and dieting that's not going to be too stressful on yourself. So there's certain health conditions that can affect fat loss, some more than others, but these are the top ones that I see in my practice. We have hypothyroidism, polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS, and even menopause. So the medications that come with these health issues also are a factor, such as the antidepressants or birth control pills, for example, are known to cause weight depending on the brand and where they come from.
All right. So here it's written, obviously, and we definitely want you to consult with your doctors that if, you feel like you're having a problem that is not related to your diet, is not related to your exercise, then definitely go and see a doctor to see what can be done on that topic. Now, there's a Dr. Spencer Nadolsky advice. Say, discuss with your doctor if there are any other options. Sometimes there are, sometimes there are not. And sometimes doctor might not know. Also, you need to understand that it might be a barrier to your weight loss and it might be actually slowing down your weight loss. Accept that. That's fine, because what we're striving for is lifelong health. We're not striving for just losing weight, but we want to be really healthy for life. And if you need to be taking these medications right now, then take them. But that's going to delay your weight loss. That's fine. But we're going to work together to actually make it better so that in the long run, eventually, hopefully, you can get rid of some sort of medication and you can just live your life the way that you can, as with as minimal chemicals as possible, put it in your body. And some medicines might help, metmorphin, antipsychotics, these are really important ones, especially also in antidepressants. You know, if you have clinical depression, you cannot help yourself otherwise than with antidepressants. So you really need to be taking these medications. But in actually 90% of the cases, or between 70 and 90% of the cases, you can help yourself with nutrition, actually. What I wanted to add here is that a lot of doctors, unfortunately, are not skilled in nutritional advice. I come from a medical background. I don't have a medical degree. I have a PhD, but it's obtained within schools of medicine. So I have been tightly connected to medical doctors in their education here in the UK. Unfortunately, they really have very, very scarce knowledge of nutrition. And what is the problem in the system between the States and the UK is the fact that 70% of illnesses are nutrition related. That is the WHO statistics from 2015. However, our educational system for our medical professionals has not been updated yet. There are some people who are self-taught or taken initiative and really started studying nutrition. They've published books, they've published podcasts, which is fantastic. Those medical doctors are worth following. However, majority of them do not understand that they can really just give nutritional advice. And when you really know what you're talking about, you can avoid a lot of medication and also a lot of life-threatening conditions. I know, I just start waffling here because I'm so passionate about these
Me
topics.
too. That's why it's tough, like, to think about it like Western versus Eastern medicine, because
Mm.
over in China, they definitely have the education on that.
Yeah.
But it's more so they'd rather prescribe a pill and get paid a little bit more. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm not going to get political on it. I'm just, putting my
Well,
little 2 cents in there.
a great book where we were talking about China just now, a great book that I'm listening on audibles at the moment is called The China Study. So the China Study is actually fantastic, and it's written by a doctor, by a professor as well. So if you can go and have a look at it or listen or read, it's by Colin Campbell, The China Study. And that book is actually incredible and introduces you to the power of nutrition. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Coolio. So moving on to reason number 5. And not spending any expenses here, your fat loss plan is dumb. So here's the thing. You don't want to lose weight. Listen, you don't want to lose weight. You're not just worried about the number on the scale. You want to lose fat. And those two are entirely different things.
Oh yeah.
Your body weight is everything that makes up your body mass. Things like your muscles, your organs, your fat, your bones, water, everything. Weight loss is easy. Just deplete your water levels, remove carbs from your diet. Hell, just stop eating altogether and you'll lose weight. But, eventually, if you continue that, you probably also might die. Whoops. Press the wrong button. So fat loss is the process of losing body fat. Go figure. But the hard part is maintaining your muscle mass and or even gaining muscle mass while doing so. So with that in mind, there are a few key requisites to a good fat loss plan. And that is sufficient protein intake, as well as a high fiber intake to make sure your gut health is good. Engaging in physical strength training, could be body weight or resistance training, machines, free weights, etc., as well as a reasonable calorie deficit. So what I see mostly with clients who assume a new training program or diet regimen with me or even other coaches, they hear the number of their calorie goal and then they always try to beat that, like they go under it. And I'm like, no, that's where you need to be. Like, it's okay if you even go above it. Like, I give people a 5 to 10% buffer with their calories depending like how large they are. And people just think that they always need to be under that goal. And if they go way too under, then if they're doing their workouts and they're getting extra walking in, like, they're breaking down their body a lot more than it can utilize what they're consuming to repair. So that's what gets them stuck in the suck or the plateau even sooner than they should, really. So just stop with the endless hours of cardio. You don't need an hour or two after your workout. You can't outtrain your diet, as Monika said earlier. So those silly booty blaster or plyometric fuckery hit workouts that aren't really hit workouts, but your favorite Insta celeb is swearing is the secret to her voluptuous booty. No, it's not. It's a re-administration of her fat from one side of her body to the other. That's why I'm saying not all of them, but some of them, that's what they do. So the solution here is to stop focusing on weight loss and start focusing on fat loss. That scale at the end of the day can't measure sexy, baby.
No, that's true. That's true. Not.
So lift weights, consume adequate protein, do your strength training, and this will conserve muscle mass as well as your BMR when dieting. You want to aim to lose 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. In conjunction with the above, at this rate of loss, you'll prevent or at least greatly minimize your muscle loss.
Amazing. That is true. And here is a case study of me. My whole story is a lot more distinctive than this. I've lost 55 pounds, kept it off for over 12 years. But the first picture here, when you see me in a black dress, that's when I was obsessed with cardio and not enough calories. I have lost 55 pounds. Yep, totally dead. But I was scared of eating. And I really developed an eating disorder because I didn't want to eat any carbs. And I spent hours on cardio machines and cycling and doing HIIT trainings from home and doing all these kind of things. So it was actually not a life that I wanted to live. And then I got introduced to weightlifting, actually powerlifting, which is now my medicine for mental health as well. And I've learned to exercise for celebration of what my body can do and not for punishing myself for what I've eaten. And like Michael mentioned, you know what? I've actually increased calories. So I started eating more than a typical woman eats all day. I started eating more and you can see the difference. So again, in only 3 months, which is actually not a long time, in only 3 months, you can see the difference in my body shape from doing cardio mostly and reducing carbs to increasing carbs. But still making sure that I hit my protein, because protein is obviously essential for maintaining muscle mass and rebuilding it after you've damaged it through exercise. This is the result that you can see here. So only 3 months, my body reshaped. I've got a nice toned body. And right now, I'm in better shape at my 33 than I've been at my 23. So just a small case study to show you that appropriate nutrition paired with not overtraining, but just training the type of stuff that's really going to bring you proper results. So by the way, now I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week, not every day like I used to, and the results are obvious.
Boom. So reason number 6 is you're gaining muscle. So the scale went up. Why am I doing this wrong? If you're not losing weight or you've even started gaining weight and you're certain you're eating in a calorie deficit, and you've read this article to make sure you're actually not eating too much, but even if you think you aren't certain, then there's a good chance you're gaining muscle and not fat. You could be gaining a little bit of fat too, but muscle weighs more than fat. So that's what people tend to get scared of. Oh. So the solution here is, well, pretty sure I mentioned this already, but saying it again. The scale is only one tool you should be using to track your progress. So tracking your body measurements, your progress photos, and your strength gains by writing down what you do at the gym and for how long, how many reps, how many sets, etc. This is going to be a far better indicator of your muscle growth. So body measurements. If your chest, arms, and quads measurements have increased while your stomach measurements have decreased or stay the same, well done. You've gained muscle and you dropped fat. Progress pics. You have to compare your progress photos month to month to get a better idea if you're gaining muscle. You'll look bigger and, there'll be lines where they never used to be. Well done. You've gained muscle. Strength increase. If you notice you're tossing more weight on the bench or lifting more in your overhead, this increase in strength correlates fairly well with the increase in muscle size. So this is perfect. If you're in a calorie deficit and your strength has or still is increasing, or at the very least staying the same, well done. There's a very good chance you're also still gaining muscle. And 7 could be that maybe you don't need to lose fat. You're already tiny. This is the one nobody wants to hear. Too bad, so sad. Because it isn't about what you want to hear, it's about what you need to hear. If you're lacking muscle mass and dieting to lose the fat you don't have, you're going to end up looking worse. So let's bring up Christian Bale from this hectic filming schedule so he can illustrate what I mean. See, in both films, he's exhibiting a lean or ripped look. So if we go by the standard definition of exhibiting low body fat, but which look would you prefer to have if you're a male? And I'm going to go ahead and assume the 60-pound heavier Bale from Batman is a lot more of a sight to see.
Yeah.
There's one defining factor between Machinist Bale, which was on the left, and Batman Bale. It was muscle. The more muscle you have on your frame, the better you're going to look when dieting down. So if you're lacking sufficient muscle mass, you don't need to lose fat. You need to gain muscle. Ladies, this applies to you too. And last but not least, you need to stop dieting. So like Monika said earlier, if you keep transitioning from plan to plan, you don't give it enough time to actually take results, which means, again, you're failing at the suck period and just giving up, moving on to something else. You don't know what's really going on. So I have to ask you a question. Are you a chronic dieter? Those who are stuck in a perpetual state of dieting. They end a diet only to begin dieting again a week later. And this constant change is neither healthy nor conducive to their progress. So with this, it comes muscle loss, disordered eating, and spinning your wheels. So muscle loss, the longer you stay in a calorie deficit, the more you risk muscle loss. And as we showed in the last few slides, you want to maintain as much muscle as you can while you're losing weight in your weight loss goals. This disordered eating. You can only sustain a calorie-restricted diet for so long. The longer you restrict your calories, the more than likely you are to end up binging and going back. That's what creates the yo-yo phenomena in a lot of people.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, you'll just be spinning your wheels. Doing the above only means you're going to make zero progress because you don't know what works, what doesn't, what changes you can maintain, and what changes that you want to be part of the rest of your life. And that's important.
100%. And a great solution to what you just mentioned is stop dieting. That's just it. I mean, we totally touched on that before. If this resonates with you, maybe it's time for you to stop, take a step back, and really think what you're doing to your body.
Just mellow out, man.
Yeah, just that. So what tends to happen is when you go under your calories and you're under your calories for way too long, the processes in your body tend to slow down. Obviously, just like a car that doesn't have enough fuel, you don't speed up to the next petrol station or gas tank or whatever you guys call it. But you want to preserve it so that you can last longer, right? This is what's happening in your body. Too low of calories, they're not going to be sufficient to maintain all the essential processes. So it's going to slow down and preserve energy. And again, you're going to have to be eating less calories, less calories, less calories in order to get the same results. We don't want that. We like food. We like a lot of food. So in addition to doing weight training, we want to eat more. I mean, that's the whole point of life, isn't it? Good food. So good food, good mood. But how do we do that? Well, I like to do this in my programs with cycling. Like, you got a lot of different cycling. I do calorie cycling in my programs. You got people who do carb cycling. But for example, I tend to drop down the calories of my clients to a nice 300 to 500 calories in deficit for 14 days. And then we've got a break. We take that break and we raise our calories back to maintenance, not into surplus, into maintenance, okay? So that you're not gaining it, but you're also not losing it. This is the time where your body recovers. It's the time to your body goes like, oh, okay, we're back to normal. All right, okay, let me do this like this. So you're constantly cycling calories, you're cycling all these things, and you're keeping your body full of nutrients, which is the most important thing. Don't just stop eating, because when you stop eating, you stop putting in essential nutrients, which are really, really important to keep yourself healthy, to keep the muscle growing, to keep the brain functioning, and to keep your immune system up. So Obviously, maybe it's going to be a bit slower of the progress when we're talking fat loss here, but on the long run, it's going to get you there better.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's it.
That's
That,
it.
I think that's us. So we hope that these 8 steps really helped you understand what's happening here. Let me take this out of our... Yeah, there we go. So it really help you understand what's happening inside our body, why you might not be losing weight. If this was helpful, obviously share. We would really, really appreciate that. And obviously get in touch with, well, on this side, Coach Mello. He's honestly a bank of resources. He's got so much experience in this topic, and he can really, really help you a lot when you're looking for transformation, physical or mental. We both do the same thing, but we approach it from different angles. However, it's so important for us that our people get the best possible result, but not trading their health for that. Michael, do you have any last words before we wrap it up for today?
I don't think I could have wrapped that up any better. That was perfect.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. What we're going to do is this is being streamed through my personal StreamYard. So you're seeing this on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. I'm going to make sure Michael drops his contact, his details into my messenger. So I'm going to pop them into all these, what are they called? Channels.
Channels, yeah.
All these channels. Make sure you get in touch with Michael, join his Facebook group, join my Facebook group, Bad Mom Club, and just...
I need to get a shirt now.
I know. It's so I'm like Superman now.
Da, 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 da.
So make sure you join us. Make sure you start learning from our communities. We pop a lot of golden nuggets in our groups. So welcome to the family, and don't get frustrated. Keep going. Break through the suck, because that's where the winners are. Yes. All right. Thanks, Michael, for joining me today. It was awesome.
Crush the rest of your day, everyone.